Hello and welcome to Balanced Existence. Today is day 22 out of our 31-day series where I am doing a tarot reading each day of the month of December 2025. But of course, this is a timeless reading, so whenever you come across the series, I trust that there's something here for you. And apologies, my voice is still a little bit sore, but I'm not sick, fortunately, so I feel good and it is getting a little bit better, so probably a few more days of this scratchy voice, and then we'll be back to normal. But as always, we're going to start with the Oracle and Astrology card as our overarching themes before we channel into the tarot. And as always, this series is to help you recalibrate your energy and align with your highest timeline. So get cozy, really be present, and feel free to set any intentions that you may feel drawn to set here for this reading. So for our Oracle card, we have the Union card. It says, "You have seen and unseen allies. Draw upon their strength. Join forces with friends and flourish." And I'm getting chills channeling into this because typically when we think about union, we think about with a romantic relationship or some divine counterpart. And I think it's such a fitting and beautiful message because on this channel, we talk a lot about the inner union, the union with self, which is the union of the inner divine feminine and inner divine masculine. And I always try to make these readings about you and your inner world rather than just egoic messages or concepts or, predictions of outcomes that are simply just going to soothe your ego, because that is a kind of slippery slope in the spiritual community and spiritual world where many of us can become fixated or unhealthily attached to things that are external to us and simply out of our control. So my goal with these readings is always to focus on you and focus on your own empowerment. And, the magic of that is that by nature of elevating your own consciousness and raising your own frequencies, are you then able to, of course, magnetize and attract that which is compatible and in alignment with you, which of course translates to the relationships you attract. But I feel a lot of us seek advice on or outcomes, external outcomes regarding romantic relationships. And what I love about this card is that it's talking about the strength of your allies and, like joining forces with friends, which is allowing you to flourish. And this is speaking to this concept of compatibility and alignment. And this is a huge part of your path as you are stepping into this timeline where you are thriving in all aspects of life because you are showing up in an authentic way. And so the important message here is that, again, like instead of looking to external situations or circumstances or outcomes, or even just like looking to your external environment as some kind of validation or fulfillment, I want to always bring it back in and work inside out, but I also want to convey messages that are going to show just how empowering it is when you're able to discern who is aligned with you and who is not. And, not in a judgmental way. And of course, there may be grief that is required of this journey when you have to let go of, certain relationships that turn out to not be your allies or your friends or compatible with you. But when you pivot your perspective and you see what is there for you and what is providing you with more strength and more support in your friendships or any relationships or even just your general community, when you're able to recognize all of the abundance and the positive opportunities in your connections, you become the conscious creator of your reality because you're able to know what's in alignment with you and move towards that. And this type of union from the inside out, like you've achieved this union with self, which is of course an ongoing journey for life, something to constantly practice and refine and become a master of, the mastery of self, right? When you achieve that inner union, you then achieve aligned connections and friendships in your external world. But this isn't just romantic, this is also your friendships and your community. And so there's a really important message here, because what I'm trying to convey is that this is, at its simplest level, energetics. And so the energy that you are navigating through life with and going into the world with is going to show up as such across all facets of life. And so, we've talked about inside out and you achieving this beautiful union of self, the balance of your inner divine feminine, inner divine masculine. And so as we move our way out into the world, which this union card is speaking to, this kind of shift from your internal union to external unions, like connections that we're forming with, again, friendships, even romantic relationships, or just generally our community. This could even be like with certain family members. But there's an important concept of energetics where how you're showing up with your friendships is going to be consistent with how you show up in your relationships. And that doesn't necessarily mean literally, like you may be somebody who puts more effort into your relationship and doesn't put as much time into your friendships, or you may be someone who puts a lot of effort into your friendships but doesn't put effort into your relationships. But the energetics of, in terms of like your subconscious beliefs and thinking patterns and how much you're able to recognize abundance, that is going to show up across the board, right? And again, there are certain facets of life that we may excel in over others, like career, friendships, relationship, things like that. But I'm picking up on this collective that it will benefit you to evaluate your friendships and evaluate your relationships, or your history of romantic relationships, let's say. And you will likely find similar themes and lessons that can be applied both ways. And so as we recognize this, and for the collective that is in the process of manifesting romantic love, it's going to be beneficial for you to look at your friendships and look at the allies you have and look at how you spend your time. This card is saying you have seen and unseen allies. So there are people on your side fully in alignment with you. Are those the people you're prioritizing? And are the people you're prioritizing ones that are helping you to thrive and that are really giving you these strong feelings of strength and support? Because again, as we learn to master our recognition of abundance and move towards it, like magnetize ourselves towards the abundance so that it can then be magnetized back to us, again, in this kind of mirroring of our energetics, as we're doing that, we're able to step into this version of ourselves that shows up with this abundance mindset in our friendships, in our connections, and that is helping us. That's kind of like these stepping stones towards our romantic relationship alignment as well. And I mean, honestly, like whoever you are in the collective, like this could be happening in a variety of ways. I don't want to be too specific or literal. I mean, you could be somebody who's in a healthy romantic relationship but has struggled to make friends. And so now you're being called to really assess like in what ways your energetics are blocking you from calling in those aligned friendships. You may be somebody who has great friends and a healthy relationship, romantic relationship, but you're struggling to find spiritual community that you're aligned with. Like it could be any number of things for you. So take it as it resonates, of course. Like your intuition knows how this message is meant to, land for you. But with this union card, Spirit is definitely calling the collective to acknowledge that our inner world has evolved to quite a high frequency. And so you're ready to start taking a look at your external circumstances and environment and kind of, I'm hearing like stepping up to the podium. Like I'm kind of seeing this like metaphorical leadership role that you're stepping into, where you're again becoming the conscious creator of your life. And I'm picking up on a collective that maybe there was just this past year or over the past few years or several years, have undergone some shifts in your circles and your relationships. Like you may have lost friends, you may have gained friends, you may have endured like heartbreak or separations, or, met people that, have taught you lessons. And so in the past, you felt like these things were happening to you. And it was all kind of like this reactive, like domino effect stemming from your energetic state that you were not as conscious of or aware of at that time. But now you've done so much inner work and achieved this union of self that you are so self-aware of where you're at and how you're showing up. We've talked in previous readings about becoming more aware and mindful of our emotions and our body and those kind of intuitive whispers and nudges. Like you have so fine-tuned your ability to pick up on your internal signals and your internal needs and the needs of your inner child, that now you are ready to take the lead in creating your reality, creating the connections you want, creating the circles, the networks that you want, because you're coming from this aligned inner state of being. So definitely, I'm hearing also to like take some time to journal. This could be really valuable for you. Maybe like a scripting practice in terms of how you wish to feel in your friendships and in your romantic relationships, or, in your spiritual community or wherever it may be. I'm getting chills channeling into this because I think this could be a really powerful exercise for you to really get clear on what it is that you are being called to kind of work through, so that you can call forth these, friendships and allies that are going to support you on your path forward. I'm also seeing kind of this like blooming of a flower. Like you spent a lot of time in like this hermit phase. I know we haven't like pulled any of the tarot cards yet, but you spent some time in your inner world, kind of like in this cave, in this hermit phase. And now your petals are blooming outward and you're ready to face the world. You're ready to express your beautiful scent, right, in the metaphor of the flower, and, express your love outward and call to you people who will appreciate you for the beauty of your energy. And so this is a really powerful shift outward. I mean, we've come so far, even just with this channel just starting out. I mean, these readings have shown just what a transformational journey that you are on. So let's move on. I know that was like a long tangent, but the Union card is just such a powerful energy. And I'm really feeling like you're on the brink of stepping into this role where you can imagine and envision and visualize. I'm hearing like visualization practices as well. The life and the relationships that you want, because you're coming from such a grounded and rooted and, well-established, cleansed inner state. And I'm hearing like the wisdom you have, the embodied wisdom, is allowing you to now, again, step into this role where you can now create your external reality from the inside out. So our astrology card is Scorpio. So this could be you could be Scorpio, sun, moon, or rising, or even Venus, or any kind of part of your house. I would definitely look at your house, your birth chart, at what house Scorpio rules and any planets in that house. And there may be something of value from that, like something that can guide you towards an area of your life that you may need to focus on more. But with the Scorpio energy, this is all about, inner emotional depth and really getting to the bottom of things, like that kind of investigational power, which you've done so much on an internal level, and now you're being called to do so in your external relationships and connections. And so again, that's why that journaling exercise is going to really come in handy here, because it's going to allow you to, search the depths of your connections for patterns and things that you need to process and understand to a deeper degree. This is about like deep emotional intimacy and confronting your shadows. I mean, the Scorpio card is such a card of transformation and rebirth, and it can be a little bit intense, but it's a sign that's going to get you to your deepest inner truths. Again, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it causes you vulnerability, this is not an energy that's afraid of conflict, right? So again, like if there are relationships or friendships that you need to move on from and grieve, like Scorpio will give you that power to do so, because everything it does is for the sake of your internal truth. And of course, taking aligned actions with your inner truth. So asking yourself like what you need to be clearing is a great way to harness the Scorpio energy as well. What needs to be cleared so that you can reach true, authentic, fulfilling, abundant union, with others. And again, it doesn't have to just be romantic relationships, but, take the message as it resonates for you. I think that if you're listening to this, you know exactly what facet of life you want to improve and, better co-create unions with others. So let's pull some tarot here. We have the 3 of Swords and the 5 of Wands. Yeah, I mean, this is what we were just talking about. This is heartbreak. This is pain, the 3 of Swords, like pain, but from it, we get clarity, right? Like it's the healing that we achieve through our awareness. Again, these journaling exercises, these visualization exercises, this is all going to be so important for you so that you can take the lessons, look back over the past year or few years and look at how your friendships have gone, how your romantic relationships have gone, how your community, even your coworkers or your spiritual community or your relationships with your family, all of it, how has it evolved? How has it served you well? What lessons has it taught you? But then how has it also not served you? In what ways have any connections not served you well? Because this is the honesty that is necessary for us to, again, get to that emotional truth that Scorpio is leading us to. And, being honest with yourself and coming forward with that truth is crucial so that you can be an empowered co-creator of your reality, right? Like if you are just feeling obligated to continue to support and nurture certain friendships or relationships, but it's not in alignment with your deepest inner truth, then you're not going to have that manifestational power. So allow these old wounds to surface. If something makes you feel emotional, even if it's something from the past, there's no need to be ashamed of it. Like that's a beautiful gift. Anything that causes you emotion is valuable insight, valuable information that, it's like, how can you cleanse your blockages if you don't know what the blockages are, right? So when you're feeling strongly about something, and this goes for negative or positive emotions, if you're looking back at a relationship and it makes you feel so happy, and so grateful to have had that friend in your life or to have had that romantic experience, like that's just as valuable as well. So really be open to feeling whatever surfaces, because that's what's going to lead to that complete healing here. So again, the journaling is coming through strong. I'm definitely feeling like a journal exercise will be incredibly powerful for you here. And with the Five of Wands, this also talks about conflicts and maybe competition or other forms of tension. This could be like the inner struggle as well, because this card is, it's not like anybody's in danger with the Five of Wands. Sure, we do have the Three of Swords here, so there could very well have been very difficult, painful, heartbreak. But with the Five of Wands, this is more talking about like egoic conflicts or clashes with others. Like, we talked in the beginning about compatibility, and the Five of Wands is the perfect representation of incompatibility. And maybe these incompatibilities are a result of, you being led by your ego or others being led by their ego. But maybe it's just a true misalignment. Like this person is just simply not meant to stay in your life because they're not aligned to you. They're not compatible with you, right? Like getting down to the honest truth of that is truly the goal here. So with this Five of Wands, past tension, conflict, Scorpio is here to get you to work through that conflict. It doesn't have to be with the other person, but, on an internal level, like through this journaling or visualization of what you do want. Scorpio is here to expose, what needs to come through so that it can be released, right? Like anything blocking you can be released. So instead of avoiding and pushing things down, like allow those difficult feelings from the past resulting from those conflicts, allow them to surface and really utilize that somatic work to feel it in your body and, release it, not in your mind, not retelling the stories, not reliving the conflicts, but allowing your body to release it. And so whether it was past disagreements or friction, again, whether external or internal, this is all necessary as you're kind of purifying your energy and, again, stepping into that leadership role where you can manifest the connections and unions with others that are going to put you on your highest timeline and allow you to thrive fully. We also have the Page of Pentacles coming forward. So this is a beautiful card about new beginnings, kind of like the potential of growth, because the page is in like that child state, right? It's not the king or queen yet, but it is that commitment that is being formed as you enter into this learning phase. And the Page of Pentacles also represents like an offer at times. And like, again, this could be external, but I always focus on the inner world. And so this could be you simply making a gesture to yourself, an offer to yourself of this commitment of, you know what, I'm going to step into this belief that I can have relationships that will truly make me feel fulfilled because I've done the inner work, to be able to accomplish that fulfillment on an inner level. And so I believe that I have the power to magnetize only the highest, most aligned connections. That simple commitment and offer and affirmation is a pivotal part of your transformation as you move forward on this healing journey. Like setting that intention and really embodying that care for yourself, that nurturing of your inner child, because, at the most core level, your inner child wants to be supported, wants to be accepted by others, wants to feel a sense of, connection and appreciation by those around them, by their loved ones. And so this is a completely critical part of your journey here. And your soul is leading you towards this healing, towards these new foundations that you're able to build after this like emotional clearing. And so again, this is a very sincere kind of commitment to this effort. It's not like a grand gesture. it's like a real world practical offer, practical follow through. So again, the journaling exercise is the time you take to sit and meditate and feel what needs to surface in your body. And for some of the collective, there may be a lot. You may have undergone a lot of heartbreaks and conflicts. And for some of the collective, you may not have, or you may have, but you may have kind of processed a lot of it so that it doesn't really trigger much in you. Wherever you're at on your journey, like, this is valuable steps forward for you to take. And again, it may be a slow process, with the Pentacles card being the earthy, groundedness. It's not necessarily a fast moving energy, but it is one that is committed and, open to that growth and learning. And then we also have the Ace of Swords. So yeah, this is a beautiful new beginning, a new mental beginning, like we were talking about before, achieving that mental clarity, getting down to the truth of things, being honest with yourself, having a breakthrough, having a new mental perspective, right? So as you navigate through life, again, you're able to recognize where the abundance is and follow that. So that's, on an energetic level, what results in you embodying the behaviors and the actions that attract you more towards those friendships and allies that are going to serve and support you, right? Because you've gotten your energetics right, because you've gotten that mental clarity. It's like you've rewired your subconscious mind so that it's effortless for you to go towards the abundance in life. And, in the context of unions with others and friendships and romantic and anyone you have a connection or a relationship dynamic with, this is all about having the mental clarity of knowing how it makes you feel, how it supports you, and this like radical honesty about each one of your connections in your life. This could also represent like a conversation or like an honest communication that you have with somebody, whether it's somebody you've known a while and maybe you need closure, or maybe you need to kind of redefine the expectations around the relationship, again, whether it's romantic or friendship. But this could also symbolize, as you are doing this journaling work and getting clear on what you need, you're then able to communicate those needs better to others. It's not just about you picking and choosing who you want in your life and then now you've got an aligned circle or network. It's also about how you interact in those connections. And the Ace of Swords is, again, all about those conversations that provide clarity and that are rooted in genuine care and honesty. So I'm really feeling you stepping into this new reality where you have acknowledged the past and felt the pain and confronted and released what needed to be released, like any tensions, things like that. And you're slowly beginning to rebuild your reality, your connections, all through this honest truth that came, and I'm loving this balance of the Ace of Swords, this kind of mental clarity. Even the Three of Swords talks about, the truth we get to from the pain. But I'm loving the balance of the swords, this air energy, which is of the mind and the mental clarity and truth, with Scorpio being our overarching theme, because, it's not enough to just have the mind. You need the heart and the mind, the emotions and the mind in union, right? Like, even those are in union with each other. And so Scorpio being this overarching theme is allowing you to go through this process of, getting to your truth in a way that's going to be aware and acknowledging and accepting of your feelings, right? So any feelings that come up on this journey, that is information that is leading you to that mental clarity. And this is like you really reaching that harmony within yourself and that harmony in your external relationships. Choosing depth, choosing radical honesty, even if it's uncomfortable. And, always living through that truth rather than avoiding any type of emotions or feelings about things. So this is a beautiful surrender to truth, and it's going to show up. It may already be showing up in your relationships, in your connections with others. And we are reaching union on so many levels. We have the union of our inner divine feminine and inner divine masculine, like the union with self. And then we have the union of the self with others, as we step into these aligned and compatible relationships. We have the union of our heart, our feelings, our emotions with our mind and the truth and mental clarity that we're constantly seeking. And all of this is what gets us into such a feel good, I'm hearing like feel good state of being, where we feel connected to others in ways that feel good, that make us feel supported. We're then able to make others feel supported. It's like a beautiful mirrored connection or connections that we are forming and attracting. So this is what I have for you today. Thank you so much for listening. And I would love to hear from you in the comments, what resonated, what breakthroughs you're having. And as always, I will be back tomorrow with the next day of this series, and I will see you then. Bye.